Chelsea Football Club signed Brazilian wonder-kid Estevão Willian, and apparently he's making demands to play at the number 10 role. This stinks. I don't believe it. I'm going to explain to you why. This is a lie. It doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, Chelsea Football Club have decided, you know what? There aren't enough professionals within the football game. We're going to the NBA world and we're stealing the Minnesota Timberwolves Vice President of Executive Basketball Operations. I'm going to explain to you what his role is going to be, because I love my basketball. I know a lot about my basketball, and I can explain to you what role he's going to be doing at Chelsea Football Club. And all jokes aside, I'm kind of excited by it. And finally, this isn't only about Chelsea. This final topic is about player welfare, because there's a lot of players coming out and absolutely talking waffle. And I'm going to debunk this, because for me, what Rodri is doing, what Jules Koundé is doing, and threatening to go on strike is laughable. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be pointing your fingers at UEFA and FIFA. Broski, you need to be talking to your employer, and I'm going to explain to you my logic behind it. But before we get started, what do we do on this channel? Before you go to eat, what's the first thing you do? You wash your hands. Once you start watching the Kavkas View, what do? You hit that like button. It's the best way to support the channel. So hit that like button now. We're aiming for 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's the best way to help grow the content, because here I tell you my real thoughts. I don't filter what I say, and we get straight to the point. Let's get started. I'm going to start with the EVP story because I think it's very important that Chelsea Football Club at this moment in time is operating in a professional manner, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. So what Chelsea have decided to do is get a gentleman called Sajin Gupta. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. If I did, bravo to me. If I didn't, brother, I'm really sorry. However, who is he? This gentleman went to Stanford and he graduated with some fancy degree. Most probably he's very highly educated. And more importantly, he's worked within the NBA team, Minnesota Timberwolves, as the VP of basketball operations. Meaning, he was in charge of, signing players, assisting with the players, more importantly, how contracts were disputed and how money was allocated. He was the finance guy, he was the brains behind the operation. Now he's working at Chelsea, and his role has been broken down into 4 components within the Athletic, and I'm going to explain to you what it is, so we actually understand who this gentleman is and what he's going to be doing at Chelsea. Number 1, he's going to be working with the recruitment team and the transfer team. Number 1, this does not mean he's going to be picking which players we get. This means more, he's going to be allocating the budgets for the players that we have to do. You need to understand, football no longer is a small business that deals with just small funds. This is $1 billion corporation, right? There are billions assigned to the brand, and there are millions assigned to the wage roll of the individuals. What he's going to be end up doing is looking at the payroll, seeing how people are performing, and then making decisions based on that. Do we need to upgrade in this position? How much wages can we allocate to that? It's a financial move. Don't get scared. Secondly, he's going to be working with the finance department. We're going to be allocating the budgets, seeing what the operational expenses are. Operational expenses are when players are going to hotels. What kind of hotels are they staying in? How much is it costing to have cleaning company? All the little stuff we don't care about. It's football, non-football related. Finally, he's also going to be bridging the gap between the medical team, the coaching team, analytics, and also the long-term vision for the club. Look, you need to understand, the club isn't just a football club anymore. It's a business. And with businesses, there are expenses and there are categories that need to be ticked. And he's going to be providing the mathematical statistics that are going to assist other people to make decisions. Like, for example, if you work in a corporate job, your analytic team 9 out of 10 times will give you advice for you to make good decisions. So Win Stanley and Lawrence Stewart are going to be getting numbers from this guy on spreadsheets and, more importantly, presentations saying, look, you need to do this or you need to do this. This is the financial implications. This is the financial implications. And you can make a reasonable adjustment. For me, this makes total sense. And the final thing, he's going to be in charge of FFP and PSR. He's going to be working in a department to be making sure that numbers are not breached and we are regulatorily sustainable. This just makes sense. What I'm going to tell you lot is, don't worry about him. We might never hear his name again. This is just a hot story. Why? Because he's coming from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's moving from basketball to football. At the end of the day, he's working for a sporting organization. He just needs to balance the books. He's very intelligent. You can tell that by purely based at the fact that he went to Stanford and then he worked for the Minnesota Timberwolves in such a high position. If you're stupid, you can't do that. People are worried, oh my God, he's moving from football to basketball. He's not doing the tactics. He's not picking the players. He is essentially the calculator within the team. He's going to tell you whether we can afford to do something or we can't. And if we want to afford it, what's the most optimal way of paying this individual? That's it. Don't panic. What I don't like is when stories come out and what they end up doing is painting individuals in a bad light. And the reason I don't like this is because platforms are very powerful. If you go on a platform and say something loud enough times, there'll be a segment of people that take your word for it and run with it. For example, Ben Jacobs at the moment is saying that Estvo Willian has made demands through his representatives and himself that he wants to be part of the squad next year and he wants to play in the number 10 role. First of all, is he going to be part of the squad next year? Common sense says he will be. We heard this from the beginning. He's going to be part of the squad. He's not going on loan. This was part of the negotiations that we heard. That part's true. The number 10 makes me laugh because it's nonsense. And I'm going to explain to you why. Does his agent believe he most probably can play number 10? Yeah, most probably does. Does Willian, most probably Estvo Willian, believe he can play 10? Most probably does. Is he making those demands though? Think about it logically. No. And I'm going to explain to you why. Where does he have the most power? At Chelsea or Palmeiras? At Palmeiras, 100% at Palmeiras, he has the most power right now. Not only is he one of their top assisters, he's also their top goal scorer, and he is the best player on the team that is carrying them or part of a working unit to chase for the league title, right? They're 3 points off from Botafogo. However, he plays right wing there. So do you not think where he has power, he would most probably try to exercise this power? No? No? Yes, 100% he would try to exercise this power. And if he wanted to so badly to play number 10, he would be playing number 10, not right wing. So the reality is he will not be stupid enough to come to Chelsea and demand straight away to play in that number 10 role. I don't believe it. I think this is waffle. I think this is speculative journalism. I think this is an opinion-based journalistic approach. This is not factual. Nobody told him. And I think this is waffle. So do not believe it. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a rivalry between Cole Palmer, Joao Felix, and Estvo Willian. It should not be happening. The reality is this kid is coming in to play right wing. He's going to develop. He's going to play a bit part role. And then he's going to try break into the team. Stop putting additional pressure on a kid that does not need it at the moment. Now we need to talk about player welfare. And you know what really annoys me about this conversation? I feel like people only want to look at it from one perspective. The players, right? So the players want to get paid phenomenal amounts of money, which you know what? They play in an industry that is very lucrative. They pay big wages and they are entitled to ask for what they want. However, you need to remember one thing. These players all agree contracts when they sign players that they're going to do what the clubs tell them to do. So what has happened and what is an issue? With the Club World Cup being introduced, some players, and when I say some, I mean a small percentage of players out of all the footballers in the world, 1 or 2% are going to be expected to play around about 70 to 80 games if they play every single game, go to every single final, and then that will accumulate to 70 to 80 games, right? So Rodri's come out and his quote is, to play 40 to 50 games is okay, not 60 to 70. We're humans, we feel like cattle, right? And Koundé came out and Koundé said, we should go on strike potentially. It is an option. And Rodri reiterated that as well. Maybe the strike is the only option. Now I'm going to have my 2 cents on it. So Koundé, which is very interesting because he said there's too much games. Well, Koundé played 48 games for Barcelona last year and 11 games for France. He played 6 of those games at the Euros, right? Or the World Cup, the Euros. Fair enough. He played 5 games friendlies, international friendlies. Why are you playing those international friendlies? If you're so tired, why are you playing all of those international friendlies? Then he played in 3 Copa del Rey games. Then Barcelona got knocked out. And he also played the remainder of the La Liga games and Champions League games. Let me ask you a question. In your squad, is there no other right back? Is there no other right back that can play backup right back? Because let me explain to you for Chelsea, right? If with Chelsea, and this is the best way to explain it, Reece James is fit. Reece James is not going to play all 38 Premier League games, all Europa League games, all Club World Cup games, all FA Cup games, all Carling Cup. Number one, he can't. Number two, even if you wanted to, it's too many. You know why? Because you have Malo Gusto to back him up. You split the workload. Then it ends up Reece plays around 40, Malo plays around 30, and boom, you have your solution. Workload is low. You play your magic 40 to 50 games. However, clubs don't want to do that. And why don't they want to do that? Because they want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want to win all the trophies, but at the same time, they want player wealth. How can you have player welfare if you're going deep in all the competitions? Explain to me why Rodri needs to play for Manchester City, or for example, Enzo Fernandez needs to play for Chelsea in a third round of FA Cup, fourth round, fifth round, a Carling Cup third round, Carling Cup fourth round, fifth round. Why? Those 6 games you shouldn't be playing. Those games are for Romeo Lavia, are for Leslie Ogochukwu, are for Keanu Dyer. It is their opportunity to play. Rotate your squad, then you don't have to burn these players out. For me, the issue is not with UEFA and FIFA introducing these cups. For me, the issue is with the club saying, A, we're going to play, and B, when they play, they still play the same players. You can't use, out of 25 players, only 16 players. There are players that are in the 25-man squad and only play 6 games a year. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And then people are waffling, because that's what you're doing. You're waffling. Oh, you know what? It's not right that we're playing 50 games or 60 games. Brother, you shouldn't be playing 60 games because you're voluntarily playing these games. You and your manager need to sit down and come up with a nice rotation plan where some games, you know what? You're sitting out today. This person on the wage roll gets to play. And guess what? People let me give you an example at Chelsea. Ben Chilwell will jump at the opportunity to play 10 games, 15 games instead of Cucurella. He will jump at the opportunity. However, people will be like, oh no, we want to win, so Cuckoo has to play all 60 games. No, it doesn't work like that. That's my personal opinion. I want to know yours. I'm very passionate about this situation because for me, this situation is actually, it's very funny, you know? These players have made it to the top of the list, right? They're at the top of their profession. A CEO of a top company gets paid the most. These players get paid the most. A CEO at a top company works 60 to 80 hours a week. Every week, guaranteed without fail. And guess what? They get paid for that. So do these players. You're successful. You're the best of the best, meaning your workload's higher than everyone else's. You don't like it? Go play in the championship. Go play your 46 games guaranteed and then 5 or 6, cup games, and that's your season done. You know without a doubt you're going to play a maximum of 50 to 52 games. And that's it. But they don't want to. They want to moan, and I don't like it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts. Tomorrow is the West Ham preview with, the press conference from Enzo Maresca. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you know what I'm talking about. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.